Hello there and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky. I am the Orange Genius, but you may call me Eric. And in the last episode we managed to sneak into the royal keep, and now we are in before a conversation with the actual queen. And I do want to have that conversation today. Like for me it's a quarter past 9 p.m. like 9:15 p.m. And I have to do work tomorrow and get up at 4 a.m. but I'm still recording. That means something, by the way. I beg your pardon, Majesty. I've brought the two I spoke of before. This is Joshua and Estelle. Thank you I don't know. Thank you kindly. By all means, enter. As you wish. I'll wait for you here. You two go on in. Right. Pardon us. Oh. I bid you welcome. My name is Elisha von Auslese. I am the 26th monarch of the nation of Liberal. I'm Estelle Bright. I'm a junior bracer of the Bracer Guild, and I am Joshua Bright of the same affiliation. It is a great honor to meet you, Your Majesty. Estelle and Joshua, I have truly been looking forward to meeting you both. I regret that I cannot offer you proper hospitality, but I have prepared some tea. Please have some and relax. I see, so Professor Russell asked you to bring this information? A pitch-black orbment capable of negating all other orbital energies. And you say that the Colonel has acquired it? The Professor told us that you might have some idea of what he intends to do with it, Your Majesty. Can you tell us anything? I have but a vague idea, but I did not even think that the Colonel even knew of it. Perhaps I am worrying about nothing, but even so... Excuse me, but what is this vague idea you have? I suppose there is no harm in telling you. Roughly 10 years ago, a massive orbital reaction was detected beneath Gransel. Professor Russell was the individual who came to investigate. Huh? Did this happen in the vicinity of the sewers? No, far deeper underground. Than that, in fact. Professor Russell was under the impression that it might be a relic of the ancients that still functioned. Wow! So it was a bona fide artifact then? Most artifacts are bona fide. Oh, well, sounds to me that like that's Latin for like good, and bonus means good, and fidus means like dependable or something like that. Not like I'm translating Latin into German and then into English, and it makes for some funny, like that is, if you take a text, an English text, put it into the Google Translator, translate it into German, then Japanese, then in like Hindu, and then back into English, you're gonna be surprised what comes out of it. Because you will not be, your original text was a little bit different. But okay. Most artifacts I know have lost their function, like the mechanisms on top of the towers. But every now and again you find one that still functions, like Mayor Delmore's family heirloom. And something like that is beneath Gransel. So what does that tell us about the gospel? Maybe it could be used to halt the artifact's functions. Could it do that? Yes. However, we were unable to establish the nature of the artifact, or indeed why it was buried beneath the city. But it is beyond my imagination how the Colonel could know of its existence. Professor Russell's research on it was kept strictly confidential and off the record. I see. In any event, it seems likely that trouble's on its way. Honestly, just as I start to think, maybe the Colonel might be a slightly nicer guy than we were giving him credit for. But when someone's trying to stir up some trouble, that's when us bracers come in. We won't let him get away with whatever evil scheme he's trying to pull off.
I'd expect no less from Cassius's daughter.
Huh? You're acquainted with our father, Your Majesty?
Yeah, he was a former friend of my late son's, and a great savior of the nation. Even after he retired from the army, he would sometimes undertake requests for me.
Really? I didn't know that.
I imagine that there are a great many things about him that you do not know of, including the precise role he played in the war 10 years ago. I assume you have not been told?
Well, nothing super detailed.
Perhaps then that is the role that I am meant to play. Estelle and Joshua, will you indulge me by listening to an old story?
Oh yes, absolutely. It is no indulgence, Your Majesty.
10 years ago in the spring...
I'm sorry, I'm like putting myself in a more comfortable position here.
A tragedy occurred in the southern reaches of the Erebonian Empire. Its cause is yet unknown, so that is something I must admit. The Empire used that event as a pretext for their invasion of Liberal. So began the sad times that would become known as the 100 Days' War. Just as the Empire made its declaration of war, a massive military force breached the Haken Gate. In what seemed like scant moments, all of Liberal became occupied territory, save for Grancel. It is said that the invasion force was 3 times the size of the entire royal army. The reinforcements from Calvert were too late to stop their advance. It was but a matter of time before Grancel too would fall. But 2 months after the outbreak of hostilities, the war changed in a way that none could have imagined. Patrol airships had just been developed and were used to recapture Liberals' checkpoints, severing the Imperial Army's communications. The Royal Army then set about recapturing the major regions one by one using ships launched from Leeson Fortress. Zeiss, Rouen, Beauzet, Roland. With their supply lines severed, the Erebonian forces could occupying every region were swiftly crushed. And the one behind this plan for a counteroffensive was none other than one Colonel Cassius Bright with an extremely long index finger.
Oh God! What did you do? It's like 3 centimeters long than the usual kind of index finger. Do you have a... Oh my God! Oh my God!
Okay, I'm sorry.
It was your father who was General Morgan's right-hand man at the time, as well as Colonel Richard's superior officer. Afterward, with the intercession of the Bracer Guild and the Zeptian Church, the war was brought to an end. But it was all this time that Cassius lost what he treasured most in all the world. Lena, your mother, Estelle. That clock tower was destroyed in the Imperial Army's vain attempts to hold back the counteroffensive. What followed, I am sure you know. Cassius was not even able to be by his wife's side in their final moments.
No, I had no idea.
And he believed that the military operation that he himself had planned effectively caused her death. Blaming himself, he left the military and took up the path of a bracer. all to stay with the only one he had left, you. And this time he swore he would be able to protect those he loved.
Dad, that idiot. It wasn't his fault that Mom died. How could he even think that? Estelle.
Yes, you are correct. Given that all he lost was in service to his country, the responsibility falls upon me. And so I'm sorry, Estelle. I failed to protect your mother. I have wished to apologize to you for a long time.
But you don't need to apologize. You've protected the peace of this country ever since the war ended. The peace that Dad and all the other soldiers who defeated Liberal in the war fought so hard to protect. And the peace that Mom gave her life for, so I could live in it. You have nothing to be sorry for.
Estelle, you have a kind heart, and I am grateful. It gladdens my heart to have finally met you in person. Now more than ever.
Your Majesty.
However, that is why I do not wish you to put yourself in danger. I would like for you to remove yourself from any dealings with this matter.
What? But Julia, I mean Lieutenant Schwartz asked us to help you.
I thank you. I am grateful for your willingness to do so. But if some tragedy were to befall you in Cassius' absence, I know of no apology that could ever suffice. I ask only that you go back to your home in Roland and wait for your father to return.
But... If I may, Your Majesty, the peace that Dad restored and that you protect, though it has held firm, now trembles like a leaf in the breeze.
Joshua.
If the Colonel is able to use the gospel for whatever purpose he intends, and if he succeeds in making the Duke the new king of Liberal, then what will become of that peace? I ask only that you consider that. Your Majesty, right when we became junior bracers, we inherited a whole lot of work from Dad. After the Sky Bandit incident, we got that letter and the package, and we've been running all around creation ever since. It feels to us like our dad's been nudging us in the back this whole time. That is why I want to defend peace, so that everyone we've met and everyone we care about can go on living secure and happy lives. Just like you, and just like Mom and Dad. I'm doing this because it's what I believe is right, and I really want to see it through.
Estelle. It seems she was right about you.
Huh?
I, too, am ready. I would like for the two of you to carry my request to the Bracer Guild.
Your Majesty. My liege, we will do whatever you ask.
My request is for the Bracer Guild to rescue those being held captive by the Intelligence Division. Amongst them is my granddaughter, Claudia.
Aha, so the princess is being held captive somewhere.
Yes. This coup d'etat started when I backed her as the successor to the throne.
In other words, Duke Doonan was out of the running.
Yes, though he is my nephew, he is possessed of a considerable number of character flaws. In brief, where he is lacking, my granddaughter shines. For the sake of this nation's future, I would have my granddaughter succeed me.
Well, I don't exactly know her, but I personally lean towards the idea that your judgment should really be trusted here.
No matter the era, there will always be those who object strongly to a woman wielding political power. Not to mention the memory of the invasion by a larger power is still relatively fresh. Some of them will perceive a succession of 2 consecutive queens to be a sign of weakness. It is hardly surprising that such a notion has taken root in the minds of some.
Some, including Colonel Richards, I presume.
Quite right. Claudia's pending succession to the throne caught him quite unawares. That, along with his passing of this information to the Duke, is what led to this coup. This was all staged so that Liberal would become a strong military power, with the Colonel ruling from the shadows.
I see. That finally lets us see the whole picture. So if Liberal became a militarized country, what would happen then? A great many things. Taxes would be levied to fill the war chest. Orbital weaponry would be developed with the express intent of causing havoc on a massive scale. A wide range of a wide range policy of conscription would be adopted, and no doubt contracting the Jaeger Corps would may be illegal, which is not the case at present. Oh no!
Indeed, the Colonel has made very adamant requests that I enact such policies. I thought that such proposals were born out of genuine love for this country, but I never agreed that they were the right cause of action to take. The Royal Army is not all that protects this land. We have worked hard to maintain treaties with other countries. Defending a nation goes hand in hand with free cultural exchange and trade with all other nations to the benefit of all.
I feel the same way, Your Majesty. Yeah, makes sense to me.
The Colonel, however, finds such notions to be womanly and foolishly idealistic. So he demanded that I abdicate the throne in exchange for Claudia's safe return.
What?
Many people have had family members taken to ensure that they would not dare to oppose the Colonel. But I am the Queen, and I will not allow all that I love about my country to be destroyed simply because of blood ties. Still, she is my only granddaughter. I cannot simply allow her to die.
Your Majesty, please try to relax. We hear and comply with your request. We will see to it that the princess is rescued from those who have imprisoned her.
Thank you. Thank both of you. With that reassurance, I will do all I can to oppose the Colonel's demands.
Have you any other requests, Your Majesty? The gospel still has to be dealt with. And I do not think we should just leave you here.
I appreciate your sentiment, Estelle. But the present state of affairs is not contingent upon my freedom or imprisonment. The gospel shall continue to weigh heavily on my mind for a great many reasons. For my part, I will attempt to ascertain the Colonel's true intentions with it.
Oh, wow, what a totally awesome person. Super nice, but with a seriously strong will. I hope I'm even one teeth that cool when I get old. Cool? Did you actually just call the Queen that? Still, she definitely has what it takes to govern a whole country. Yeah, I really want to stop this coup thingy and help her. That's definitely outside. That is definitely outside of Bracer jurisdiction. Well, first things first. We do whatever we can, right? But you know, I'm still freaking out about what the Queen told us about Dad. I wonder if he's got any more tidbits she'd be willing to share.
Estelle and Joshua, have you finished changing?
Oh yeah.
Then we should return to the waiting room at once. It's already after 11 o'clock. Actually, it's almost midnight.
Whoa, is it really that late? The Queen spoke with us for a long time. If we stay any longer, it's apt to make the guards suspicious. Okay. It's been 19 minutes, but... No, this will be it for the day. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope I will see you in the next episode as well. This was not my final recording session, but I am confident that in the next 7 hours of play I will be able to finish up with this game. And those 7 hours of play will happen in 2 days, on Tuesday. So, I hope you enjoyed the Let's Play up until now, And I hope you will stay with me for the final few steps. Until then, bye-bye.